So we will do that.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Okay.
I didn't say it. I didn't say it for a reason.
I'm fine. I'm bringing it back.
Okay.
It doesn't.
You can bring it back.
I will. I did.
But you will be solo.
Really? Aw.
Mm-hmm.
Well, just know that anytime you say all right, that I'm going to.
No, you won't. You'll do it for a day. You'll do it for a day, and then you'll forget about it, and then it'll never happen again.
No.
Yes. That's how it always happens.
No, it
always.
No. I run jokes into the ground all the time. This could be it.
It won't be.
What? How do you... What do you think? You know me or something?
Yeah.
What? Well, I'll show you. Maybe.
Go ahead.
If I remember.
I don't... I'm not fighting for this.
No, I know.
I'm not fighting against it. I'm just telling you how it's going to be.
I'm going to subvert expectations. Maybe. Maybe not. This not the eyebrow raise of judgment.
All right, Tory, say something.
Remember when we were supposed to have a podcast? Podcast. Hello, welcome to the LEM'n'TEA podcast. This is episode 47. I'm Tory, this is Lewis, and we're back from another, I don't know, I guess it was intentional but unintentional little mini break, but...
I don't even know why it happened. I'll be honest,
holidays
I have no
and
idea.
a couple of events, like Anime Boston that I went to.
Oh, yeah.
So, I think just stuff like that. Life. I suppose.
All right.
So, we're now past all of the holidays that people seem to care about. Happy Trans Day of Visibility, because that was the only thing that happened on the last Sunday of March. That was the only thing.
You sure?
Yes. Yes, I am. It was the only thing. There was nothing to do with any sort of eggs or candy or any religious aspect whatsoever. I'm just kidding. Happy Easter.
Why are you saying that?
Why am I saying Happy Easter?
Why are you talking about Trans Day of Visibility, huh?
Because trans lives matter.
They do.
Yeah.
But it is always on that day.
Yes, I know. That was the...
Or maybe not always, but it has been for quite some time, I think, right?
At least a decade, at least, from what I read.
Wow, it's been 10 years.
At the very least. But yeah, I love seeing these trending tweets of people thinking that, you know, the LGBTQ agenda's taking over our sacred Christian holiday that doesn't have a firm date, or the eclipse is a sign of the apocalypse because we have angered, or the earthquake we had on the East Coast because the East Coast never gets earthquakes, and it's all a sign of, I don't know, the rapture. I don't know. I don't know what the point.
The rapture is what people think it is, or not every person, but some people think it's the rapture.
Yeah, but none of what I listed has anything to do with the sign of the supposed rapture, because we're still here and still queer.
I just think it's kind of messed up how you, as somebody who's not religious, is trying to shit on religious views.
Oh.
I'm kidding.
Okay. It was like, oh no, I'm a hypocrite. I'm not doing that to religious views. My point is just the people who can't be bothered to realize, I guess, that Easter is a moving, fluctuating holiday, and that Trans Day of Visibility was there first, and B, people who villainize.
If you think about it, Easter is a lot like Easter is a perfect holiday for trans people.
Yeah. Yeah. How is that?
Because Easter is like a new beginning, right?
Uh-huh.
Easter is celebrating like a rebirth, kind of, right?
Okay.
Because from what I understand,
yeah,
I'm not religious, but I am Catholic, or I was Catholic.
Okay.
Jesus went into a cave and died,
mm-hmm.
or they buried him. Sorry, he didn't go in. He wasn't like a wounded animal that went into a cave and went there to die. He was wounded, killed, on the cross.
Yes.
And then he went and they buried him in the tomb. And he emerged like 3 days later, and they like couldn't find him because he left. He was reborn.
And that.
It's kind of like being trans. I'm not kidding.
No, I know. It's just.
Is that wrong?
No, unfortunately for some trans folk, it does take longer than 3 days. But
days in biblical sense is
like years.
So God built the. Oh
God, this is already such a good.
Should have brought it up.
I know.
God built the universe or the world or whatever in 6 days, and then needed a day to rest or something, because nobody wants to work anymore. Apparently, he needed time off. What a fucking loser!
Oh my God.
He needed time away because he was working so hard.
Oh my God, this is already a very spicy episode, and
I don't care.
Damn. All right. Wow.
I don't care.
Glass slam and everything. All right. I guess there could be some parallels drawn there, but
Easter is for trans people.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay.
Christmas. I don't know who gets Christmas. We'll give that to the Italians. They love it. 4th of July. That's for the necks. Okay, they can have that.
I think we're jumping from
I don't know.
Sexual spectrums to nationalities to
I don't know, it's redneck and nationality.
Some might consider it that.
In my heart.
Well, that's why they get tattoos of the
Confederate flag.
Yeah, the flag that lost.
I had a kid in what grade was it? I was like 10th or 11th grade, and he was very adamant that he was going to get a tattoo. I didn't keep up with him. Of the Confederate flag somewhere on his body. I don't remember where. And he was very adamant that it was because it was heritage and not hate. I heard that a lot growing up in the South. Heritage, not hate.
It's not heritage.
It is. They love to lose. It's their heritage. Losing is their heritage.
And you know what? It's more colorful than just a white flag. The flag of surrendering.
Oh, I thought that was Dido's flag.
No, but I think of her every time. Every time. I also get thrown off when and I don't remember the song, but the song that was sampled in Stand by Eminem, when it's the actual song by Dido, like the full song. Because I'm fully
Thank you. It's called Thank You.
Okay. Thank you. I'm fully expecting it when it comes on the radio at like a Walmart or something to then hear, "Dear Stan, I wrote you, but you still ain't calling." And it's like, oh no.
I don't know if Walmart has ever played that version.
No, it'd be so cool if they did though.
If they want to appeal to the millennial group, they'll do it.
Or the next, they could.
The next.
The next.
The next.
But anyway, so that was the eventful stuff that kept us from recording sooner, and now I'm stuck for every subsequent Easter egg hunt thinking of your daughter.
Why?
Because my house has a big yard, so we did an Easter egg hunt with your kids and our other friend's kid, and
You saying your yard's better than mine?
I said bigger or big. You have a big yard now,
better
though.
Than mine. Your yard's way better than mine. It's humongous.
Yeah.
It's well tended. It's
That's
you
all
get a
thanks
lot of
to
good trees
Josh.
there.
Mm-hmm.
It's a perfect
A lot of place
yard.
to hide eggs.
Good place to hide eggs.
For reasons, I'll be honest, a little unknown to me.
Go ahead.
Only 2 golden eggs were bought as special eggs for 3 children.
I don't think it would. Okay, so let me tell you about this.
Sure. Okay.
All right, I have a little bit of inside knowledge
Ooh.
on this. Okay.
Okay.
I don't think it was a purpose that there was only 2 eggs or 2 golden eggs.
Mm-hmm.
I think. I could be wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I think that we just kind of reused a bunch of shit from last year and bought new stuff, but there's not a lot of golden eggs in a egg container, fake egg container, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's all we had, and we just had to make it work.
But it's ruined Easter. It ruined the entire egg experience for your daughter because she was the one who, despite having twice as many eggs in general as the other kids.
I'm going to bring this up. Okay?
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you right now what that is, okay?
Okay.
That is Harry Potter rules.
What?
Okay? That is some Quidditch bullshit that we pulled. I'm not saying it's fair.
I want to know what that means. I don't know what that means.
I'm gonna tell you what that means
All
right now. The little girl who lives in my house, who is also related to me by blood, and is my daughter, got probably twice as many eggs as my son.
Loaded up.
And probably much more than the other child that was there.
Yep.
But in the turf story, Harry Potter.
God. What a loaded
Let's
episode.
call it what it is. It's a turf story. She's made it that way now.
Yeah.
In the turf story, Harry Potter, all right. In Quidditch, you can have a bunch of points. Like, you can score a shit ton of points. But the game is over. Like, if somebody finds the golden snitch, the gold. So it's kind of useless. Like, the whole
I
fucking
always
game
wondered
is
that
kinda
too.
useless.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you should be trying to score points and shit, but really what you need to do is have somebody that can get the golden egg or the golden snitch or whatever the fuck it is. And that's what she didn't do.
And so there's like 4 other balls or something, right? And they're just useless, or
They do shit. I don't know what they do.
but they don't matter as much.
I don't know what they're called.
I look to you for all the Harry
You
Potter.
shouldn't. You really shouldn't.
You read them though.
I did read them and I watched them and now it's over and I'm all done.
Okay.
But it's kind of a useless game because what you really have are you have one team with what they're called are seekers, I think.
I think so, from the couple Harry Potter movies I watched.
So you have 2 seekers.
Yep.
And basically your team consists of 2 people.
Yeah, and also like if you tell little children, "Hey, we're going to play this game, but the one that matters is this shiny gold one." Do you think really 2 kids are going to, or there's only going to be 1 kid on each team vying for it? Like if you play, because people play real life Quidditch, it's like, I don't know. If I was a kid, I'd be thinking, forget that. I'm going to go for the shiny golden one that matters most.
Right.
So.
And listen, I'm not saying there's never been Quidditch matches won, or there hasn't because it's not real. But there's never been Quidditch matches won without fighting the snitch or whatever. But in the book, that's like the main job for Harry Potter.
Yeah.
And so that's like, I don't know if there's ever been a game where that hasn't happened where he's been in. In the trans story of Harry Potter. In the turf story of Harry Potter.
I was going to say, if it was the trans story, I think we'd have a different outlook on J.K. Rowling, but what could have been? Okay. Well, okay, so then that happened with your daughter.
It did.
So, but it was just funny to me because meanwhile, your son, who's just like happy to go look for eggs, is not paying attention to the hole like on the top of the bag. So like he's dropping eggs in and turning his head and looking for other ones, and the eggs just sliding down the side.
I love him very much. He is not one for detail.
I know.
He is not one to look at his surroundings. He
Yeah.
does not understand any. He has one. He's got like tunnel vision for everything. If you tell him to do one, you can't overload the boy. Okay.
Yeah.
And he's not even. I'm not saying he's not smart. I'm saying he's very smart.
Yeah.
But to the point where you have to give him step-by-step directions on how to do things sometimes.
Yeah, there was a little bit of guidance with finding certain eggs and stuff like that for him, but
he found one. He found one of the eggs. One
did.
of the golden ones.
Yes, he did. So, that was a fun Easter experience. Just because, like, I don't know. We're going, I guess, your daughter was going quantity over quality, I guess.
Quantity.
She likes to win.
She does. She's very competitive. She loves to win. She hates to lose.
And to her, in her Harry Potter mind,
yes.
winning is getting the golden egg, not the fact that she got double the amount of both of the other kids probably combined. So
she got the most candy, but didn't get whatever was in the golden egg, and I don't even know what was in there.
I don't remember either.
Usually it's money.
It wasn't money. I think it was. I don't think there was money in any of them this time around. But
that's fine. I don't think Easter should have any money attached to it. Hey, what are you doing? I need her to go. Hey, either come or stay.
I don't want to swat my hand because I don't want her to hit me.
Are you afraid of a cat?
Yes, I am afraid of a cat. This cat in particular.
She'll
goodbye. Okay.
Anyways. So she had that experience in life, and I think it was important.
Experience.
She had that experience in life, and I think it's important that she had it.
And we'll see if it happens again next year, or maybe we'll have 3 golden eggs, and everybody will get a trophy. Everybody will win. This is part of
Whenever
the agenda.
that girl who lives in my house
It is related to you.
and is related to me directly,
And it's also your daughter.
also my daughter, whenever she loses, it's over. It's over for her. It's over for everyone else too.
Mhm.
They don't know it, but it's over for them too, because she does not know how to lose gracefully. She is not a good sport.
Oh.
She just isn't. I'm sure this will come with time.
You could
But-
put her into sports.
I would hate to see that.
Yeah?
I think she would be good, and when she's not good though, she would lose her mind probably and start crying. Because she just starts crying. For
I
everything.
know.
It's like
It was the egg hunt that ended in tears.
and then she forgot about it.
And then, perfect. And
Just like any
also the
child.
candy.
Yeah.
Because you guys are eating their candy.
Can't let it go to waste.
Right.
Right?
And they got a ton of it, so.
Right.
So, happy Easter. I spent my actual Easter. Oh my gosh, Basenya! We found
She's
our
a tricky one to get.
biggest fan,
You're gonna stay here for the rest of the show.
Tiny the cat. Oh yeah, good luck. She looks so.
You're gonna stay here, Tiny.
She looks so happy to be here. She actually looks pretty okay right now.
She's not.
Okay.
I can tell you that.
She looks a little tense.
She is bearing her head
Oh.
on me. So.
Oh.
All right. Well, she's gone now. Anyways. So you had an experience.
I had a different experience that was not Easter. Well, it was kind of Easter
pretty
related.
Easter.
So, once upon a time, because you and our whole friend group used to go to this Anime Boston, and I think we determined the last time that I went was 2013. I'm not sure if you guys went maybe a year more or something, but it's been
I don't know.
probably a decade would probably be a good. I think that's when our friend group just stopped going. But it used to be a real big event because, well, first of all, it always coincides with Easter weekend, which is always great because it takes...
Why did they always do that?
I don't know.
Can't they just move it like a... Like, they must know what Easter's going to be next year, because it's not like a surprise. Like
No, I don't think...
Did they just do it on purpose? Because that...
I think so, but I don't know why. But it's always been on Easter weekend, even when I was going back when I was like 2008, 9, whatever. So what's funny about it too is that it takes place at the Heinz Convention Center, and when you walk in, there is a little
church right there.
Yeah, there's a little church right there,
Yeah.
and because it also happens on Easter Sunday, you just got a bunch of people in cosplay of like Hitalia and Naruto just walking by, while these people are like sitting in pews with this glass door trying to pray because it's Easter. I always liked that juxtaposition personally. So
They are demons that walk among us.
oh, I saw an Among Us at Anime Boston.
Oh, that's cool.
But anyway, so it had been 11 years since I last went. And the reason I wanted to go was because there were a couple of musical acts that, one of which in my mind is, or I think could be argued that is a pretty legendary act. They're all from Japan. And I wanted to see them because, like, when are they ever going to come to Boston again, near where I live? Otherwise, I'll be going to Japan, I guess, and paying some huge amount of money to see them. So, and I dragged Josh with me, which was good. We sold Pokemon and Magic cards respectively, so we made money on this trip, which was great.
Cool.
And I only went on Saturday because I guess I don't remember what the price for tickets last time was, but it was $75 for Saturday passes. Also, they got at capacity at like 1 p.m. They hit capacity, which I guess is like 25 or 26,000. And it felt like it. It was very tight. And my frame of reference is from when I last went in 2013. And I remember it kind of, I guess, it was never like a spacious experience. There was always a bunch of people, but it felt like much more so now. But yeah, they capped it and said only people who had already pre-registered could get in, and people who wanted to just pop in. I don't know if that really actually did anything to help curb the number. I don't know anybody that just walks in and registers at the desk.
Is there a desk for that? I've never seen it.
It's with the other pre-registration people where you can just register on site, but I just don't know anybody who does that because I don't know. It just
Maybe
seems
back in the day.
back when it was smaller, but
Not only that, but back in the day, they didn't have so many online resources. Probably, when it started.
mm-hmm.
I don't know how long it's been going.
Me either, but they definitely need a bigger venue, although that would mean that the Japanese restaurant attached within the center, Wagamama, would lose a lot of business. It's arguably like their busiest weekend of the year. When we went to Wagamama, because of course we did, they had like a reduced menu, so they could probably like streamline, so they could serve more people and not have to worry about such a variety.
Yeah.
And they also had like special anime shirts for the Wagamama staff.
Brand on it? That's cool.
Yeah. So, but anyway, so the act I went to see was a dual act between it's Hizaki from Versailles / Hizaki Grace Project / Jupiter / so many. He's been in so many things. And then Kaya, who's a solo artist / I don't know if Kaya's been in anything else. I think Kaya's always been a solo artist / but they were performing together for the first time ever. And Hizaki is a guitarist anyway, so the mashup made sense. And Kaya's a singer. So the other act that had I really wanted to go for the weekend, which included the Friday, was Queen Bee, famous for opening
being gay.
Trans,
yes,
but hey, and also half black, so at least half black. I think her ethnicity is not quite entirely known, but she is half black at least.
Half.
Yeah.
/
Well, she has a song called Hafu also, I think so, or half, but / but they're really cool. They're known for they're known for their anime songs or songs for the animes Oshinoko and Chainsaw Man, and others. They've been around for a while. Apparently it's their 15-year anniversary. I did not think they were around for that long, but apparently they have been. But they're great and awesome, and so their concert was on Friday, so I didn't see it, but I saw a panel with them answering questions.
Cool.
And I need to talk about my experience with this concert. So the Queen Bee Q&A was in the same area as where the concert was going to be, and it ended about 45 minutes before the concert was going to start. We get out, me and other people who are going to immediately just go in line for this concert. It starts at a door, and then there's like a little bit of a wraparound, and then you go upstairs, and then you go down a hallway, and then you go down another hallway, and that's where I was. But then if you were behind me, you went down another hallway for this line. It was all a line. And it was being the person kind of corralling people was like saying it was for the Ladybeard concert. Ladybeard, who's a really fun band, but a band I did not know was going to be at Anime Boston, let alone be apparently like the opening act for these people actually was going to see on purpose. And Ladybeard is, Lady Baby is the name. Ladybeard is the Australian wrestler man with a beard who wears Lolita dresses and quite literally wrestles on stage. So, and then flanked by two, in a baby metal sort of fashion, two little J-pop cute girls. So people were, because they were calling it that, and I think people were actually there for Hizaki and Kaya, they like, some people got out of line because they were confused about what it was about. And the line started moving, and it's filling up really fast in the room. And all of a sudden, it's like stops at me, and they go that there's no more room. And I'm like, no.
Just waited
like,
so long.
I'm like, and I felt kind of bad because like in line, I really had to use the bathroom. So I asked this person behind me to watch my stuff. And so they were behind me. And they finally like were asking people, they were like, who's a single? And I like shot my hand up. I'm like, me, technically. Like I'm a single. And so I got to go And I think that people behind me got to go in, or they were a party of 3, but the person said there's only 2 more seats left. And so, and then the doors closed. And that's the story of how I barely made it into the concert.
Oh my God.
Um,
See, that's why they need more space. They
mm-hmm.
Concerts are like the big draw for these things.
Yeah, it was in their ballroom, which I guess is their biggest space aside from the rooms that they use for like their dealer's room. But yeah, it was a stressful time of like quite literally being one of the last people to be admitted in. I'm like, please let me in.
But you got in.
I was like ready to play the pregnant card and everything. Like, I don't know.
Are you ready to cry on cue? Could you cry on like command and stuff? Can you do that yet?
I could before I was pregnant.
Yeah.
I don't do it often. Obviously, because that's kind of lame and manipulative to do. But if I have to do it, I can do it. But I was ready to play that card, or also at least to just be like, I just need somewhere to sit.
Mm-hmm.
I've been standing for so long. Because standing sucks when you're pregnant. So
yeah.
So yeah, I got in, and Lady Baby was they were great and energetic, and they covered a couple Baby Metal songs too, which was really funny. And then there was a disruption in the middle of the performance where Lady Beard got like hit over the head, and out comes this guy in spandex and who says, "I am Sean the Vegan Keegan from New Hampshire."
Okay.
And he's just this wrestler.
Yeah.
And there's this like literally 10-minute wrestling match that takes place on the stage.
In
like
the middle of a performance?
In the middle. But I think this is like their shtick thing too anyway. So it's like on the stage.
It'd be fun if it wasn't. It just happened.
I know. And there was just some wrestler who was like, he was like, Lady Beard used to be a vegan too. Now he eats chicken or whatever. Horrible. So,
awful.
And they were he defeated Sean the Vegan Keegan. Yeah. With the girls helped by having rubber chickens that they were hitting him with too. So it was
interesting.
It was interesting. And then the performance I wanted to see was there, and it was I mean, it was nice to see Lady Baby too.
The thing I actually came for was there, so I went to go see that instead.
Well, I mean, opening acts are tough, right? So
they know that.
Yeah. So I understand. So, but they were good, and I knew who they were, so I knew some of their songs, so it was fun. And I felt bad because the guy, Lady Beard, he was like, I really hate when people aren't energetic and are sitting for a performance, and I'm like,
I'm pregnant.
I'm sorry, I'll try.
I can't. I can't.
But yeah, Hizaki and Kaya afterwards, and they were really amazing and legendary and ethereal and beautiful and wonderful, and a dream come true. They also had prepared a couple of anime covers. So they did oh gosh, I think it's from Demon Slayer, Gurenge by Lisa.
No idea what Demon Slayer. Sorry.
No, that's okay. And then they did a couple anime covers, which was really cool. So it was basically like a very custom performance that you wouldn't get by seeing them anywhere else. And I was very happy to be there. So that's how I spent my Easter.
That's fun.
Yeah, and then I slept a lot the following day, Easter Sunday.
That's
the
fun
day of
too.
rest. So
you're not supposed to be sleeping on that day. That's the day where Jesus came out of the cave.
I know, but Sunday's the day of rest also, because
God needed one because he's such a baby. He needed 6 days to work and needed 1 day off. Wow, nobody wants to work anymore in this universe.
One of my favorite subreddits is called Death by Millennials, and it's all these articles that come up that say like millennials are killing
napkins.
Something. Napkins is my favorite one. I like that, and that's also not true. I still feel like I don't feel like the quantity of napkins being used has dipped that much. I don't
buy napkins. I buy paper towels. And that's a multi-use thing. I use it to clean things. I use it to wipe up messes. I use it to wipe my hands.
Some people use toilet papers as napkins. You can use moist towelettes as a napkin. Like, napkins don't have to just be napkins.
I think you should be free to use whatever paper product you want, but I do think you're weird if you use toilet paper for napkins. I think it's strange.
It's a common thing, and I know at least in Korea, I think. I agree. It is, well, because I think they just call it like
toilet tissue.
Or tissue or something where the word toilet isn't in there, so it makes it sound a little less weird. But whatever, culture.
Culture.
So
Slash.
culture slash concert slash selling a Pokemon card
Slash wrestling.
slash wrestling.
Easter Sunday slash religion. Hashtag bless.
We keeping you awake, sir?
Yes.
Okay. So anyway, we're back now, long story short. And by the time this comes out, I'll be 6 months pregnant. Woohoo! It's artfully concealed in a baggy sweatshirt right now.
Artfully.
Well, this is the only sweatshirt that zips up still.
Okay.
I don't have any other sweatshirts that zip up all the way.
They won't zip up in it anymore?
No.
Yeah.
It's horrible, and it's a really good thing that it's becoming warmer out, but like, and I've griped about this with you before, but like maternity clothes suck. Like 95% of them just suck. It's not me.
I think it's
not
you.
No, it's
I
really
think it's you.
It's really not. It's that they don't have a variety. They are plain and boring. They have the bunching on the side that I find really irritating. The ones that don't have the bunching on the side have things that say like mama or baby on it, which is like, I don't really want to advertise that because it's kind of apparent at this point right now.
It's apparent.
I'm short, so the pants have to be now like short and also wide. They make half the pants they make for pregnancy as pregnancy pants have things called side panels, which is basically like you have the ones that have like the belly band that I think are more comfortable, and then there's ones that just are regular cut, but you're now also pregnant, so you've got this weight of your stomach like pushing on this like cut of pants, and they only have side panels that expand like the wideness of the pant, so that rules out 50% of pants for me. It's a whole thing.
I'm not.
It's a whole ordeal, and I really am not like I'm wide. I'm like really wide to me, the widest I've ever been. And that's weird to see, but it's not a self-conscious thing because I know that there's a child growing in me, so that's why. It's just that I really do find most maternity clothes really ugly or uncomfortable. That's all.
Okay.
But
fair enough. Just if you're wearing maternity clothes now because you got baby on the way, probably look ugly.
Yeah.
You probably look ugly.
It's the first sacrifice that a parent should make for their child is
Looking
to
ugly?
dress ugly, I guess. So I try to make some of the clothes that I already previously owned work. And the problem really is like there's not a lot of like in-person stores that have maternity stuff anymore. So
it's online. You can find it online.
I know, but I like to try stuff on, especially for right,
I know.
right,
I'm just
right
saying
now.
you can't because
And the
it doesn't
returning
exist.
process is a son of a bitch. So, shout out to Savers, our local Savers, because they have a maternity rack and they add new clothes every week. So I've literally been going there every week, going home, trying stuff on, keeping the stuff that doesn't fit right for the next week, returning them, getting new stuff, rinse and repeat.
Hey.
And I also don't want to pay, and maternity clothes are also really expensive, so I'm being fiscally responsible and
Hell yeah.
sustainable. I'll pass this lesson on to my child. Well, or Josh will. He's much more in the sustainability, the path of sustainability. Everything I've learned from him. So
Everything I've learned from him. God, I hope that's not true.
I learned it by watching you. But yeah. So since the last episode of the podcast, obviously we're not sitting at the kotatsu anymore because
We are sitting at the kotatsu. It's right here.
it's true. It's slightly off camera at the angle we're at, but the table's still here. But we're not sitting on the floor because it's harder for me to get up off the floor these days. I can still do it. It'll just take a while. I will grunt as I get up.
I just don't know why you... I don't know. We just have to go and by all your rules here.
I know, I'm
this
sorry.
Is so crazy to me. That
I know,
we
we're
have to
going
make
back to the-
special considerations for everyone. Like, if we make a consideration from you, like, who else are we gonna make considerations for?
This was the old setup minus our brick wall because we were outside.
I don't know. I think this is woke. This is too woke.
Is this why Roe
That's
v.
too
Wade
woke.
got abolished?
Yeah.
Shit.
It is.
Well,
Because somebody had to stand up and move their set.
you know what? Somebody had to stand up first, and it takes a long damn time if you are a pregnant woman sitting on the floor. It takes a long time
It took me so long to stand up because I physically can't.
Yeah, it took me a long time to stand up for what I believe in.
Because I can't do it.
Literally.
I'm wearing this ugly maternity clothes. I look like shit.
I don't know, man. Maybe it is just me with the maternity clothes. I don't know, but I really do. I did just in a general sense not find a lot of them appealing, and I won't harp on it anymore. But luckily,
Now, please, we have to fill at least 21 minutes. So come on.
I just don't understand. I do understand from like a clothing making point of view, but like I don't understand the bunching on the sides of clothes.
I don't know what you're talking about.
So, okay.
I don't know what you're talking about. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Let me see if I can find.
Are you talking about pleating? Is that what you're talking about? What are you talking about?
Kinda. Of course, none of the pictures I took were anything that had it.
That's fine.
But it's like a bunching.
Imagine.
It's like a bunching up here,
Okay.
which they like a gathering of the fabric, which they do so that there's like more like room for the belly part. But it's so uncomfortable having this like bunched up fabric just rubbing up against my sides all the time. It like makes me. I guess what do the kids say? That's my ick or whatever. I don't know.
Uh-huh.
It gives me the ick. I hate it. I did try them on to show myself that if I really liked it or not, and I hated it. So, but a lot of clothes are like that. Shirts are like that.
So
I just have been buying like size larger shirts.
I think a lot of people do that. I don't think it's weird to do that.
Yeah, and they're also maternity shirts are also pretty form fitting too. Obviously, but like also, I don't know. I want stuff to hang a little bit. I don't want it all the clothing to be like tight on me all the time. So anyway, shout out to Savers in your large shirt section. You're a real one.
All right. We're doing a shorter one today.
We are. Yes,
So,
I have a timer.
Let's we're about 35 minutes in.
We are.
We want to kind of stop around about an hour, maybe a little beyond that, but not much.
Yeah. Let us know if you like the shorter format. I do. I mean, I liked the longer format too, but I think the shorter one is also good.
Cool.
Yeah, it's my feedback.
What did you want to talk about for the rest of the show? Because I know you had 2 things on there, but I don't know if we'll get to both.
Sure.
So.
We can go dark and talk about us watching The Quiet on the Set.
What's the other one besides that?
Avatar is doing a reboot.
I don't know anything about it.
Okay.
So probably Quiet on the Set because I know more about that. But
Sure.
if you want to go Avatar, we can go Avatar. I just don't know anything about it.
Okay. So anyway, yeah, let's talk about Quiet on the Set because that's still relevant since they did an episode 5 that.
It's kind of worthless, that episode, to be honest.
It was worthless and also just like the weird. It felt kind of like grilling, kind of like because now there's like a person who's like interviewing them rather.
They're always being interviewed.
Well, yeah, but I liked it better when there wasn't a person. The person was off camera.
Okay.
Like they told their own stories.
This person, you mean Soledad O'Brien, whatever her name is. I thought she added nothing to it, honestly.
Yeah.
I didn't really like her being there either.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that most of those questions had already been asked anyways. And
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but I had done so much digging on this anyways that
Mm-hmm.
I already knew what was going on.
Plus a couple of things that had before the episode 5 even came out, I think became a little irrelevant, such as Drake Bell saying that nobody had reached out to him after the episodes aired, the original 4 episodes, and then he had tweeted like either the day of or before that he had talked to Ryder Strong and had a great conversation with him and stuff. So
Ryder Strong.
such a great name. I don't know, such a good name.
It's a real name, I think, too.
It is.
I don't know if he changed it, but
It's been that way since he
was a child, right?
Yeah.
So
I'm kind of curious now, but I don't want to break the illusion for me. But anyway.
he's Ryder Strong.
But yeah, so anyway, we watched Quiet on Set because everybody was, and also it kind of pertained to our own childhoods between like all that and
Like, what?
Drake and Josh, like cultural relevance to us. Like I don't know if I would have maybe read about it online. I don't know if I would have taken time to watch a mini series like that if it was for something that was before or after my time or something.
Before, yeah. I was interested in it from the start, so I think.
Yes, you got me on board to watch it.
Yeah.
Which was good. I don't know. I think it made it easier to watch it with somebody else.
Yeah.
So.
I watched the first couple episodes on my own, and then we got to a point where the last episode was out, or like it already had been out, but I wanted to watch it.
Yeah.
And I thought it was a good experience to, actually go through it, and they do a pretty decent job of going through all the past, I don't know, allegations you call them at this point. I'm not sure what you call them.
Allegations are, I guess that's the general best way to put it, even though, I mean, I guess allegations can imply that there's truth to them too, so.
But this started at the beginning, like, we're talking like the 90s. We're talking like the early 90s.
90s, all that.
So.
Which I also didn't, like, we got a lot of history on Dan Schneider too, which I didn't know. Like, I didn't know he acted before.
I didn't either. Yeah, that was interesting to see that. I didn't know he was like on a show called Head of the Class or something. It was interesting.
And I also didn't know, like, I don't think anybody really would have really known, but hearing, I think mainly from the actors of color on the set of all that about how they felt marginalized in different ways or put in situations they were uncomfortable with. That was a good, like I just said, it was, I wouldn't have known otherwise, so it was a good perspective to hear from them. And not anything I would have thought of. And they talked about, like, the obvious, all that cast member and Amanda Bynes and stuff, kind of, sort of, but it was like it was I mean, the 4 episodes were a sequential timeline to all of Dan's involved things, which was like all that, then the Amanda show, and then Drake and Josh or whatever.
But I think the first episode pretty much basically dealt with Amanda, like not all of it, maybe half of it, and then they moved on to the Drake stuff.
Yeah. The big reveal.
Yeah, the big reveal. It was Drake Campagna had come out. That's what he's called in Mexico, right?
I know. Okay.
It's funny.
Does Campagna mean?
It means bell.
Oh. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
It means bell.
Yeah. But yeah, so, and because we talked about this a couple of times after watching it too, but it was like, I mean, obviously what Drake went through was horrific. You do kind of have to wonder if that played a role in his own misdeeds, so to speak, because people on the internet were very, like, black and white about it. They were like, either everybody owes Drake Bell an apology, or the opposite, and it can't just be, we can acknowledge the horrible stuff he went through, but also acknowledge that he has done some not so great stuff himself. And that's humans. Humans are not starkly one thing or the other like that.
Mm-hmm. No, I think you're right. I think, but the problem with that now is that we're seeing a lot of people who are they're kind of just erasing the whole thing with that Drake Bell did. You know, they're just kind of like glossing over it, because it was pretty, like, it was pretty graphic, and it was pretty shocking to hear that he was like, I don't know, sexually assaulted, raped, whatever. I don't even know if you can say that. It doesn't matter. I don't care. We're not getting money anyways. He went through that for quite some time too. It wasn't a one-off thing. It happened multiple times.
Yeah.
From how he said it, but the charges that he was up against in, like, recent times, like now, it was like child endangerment and some other stuff, and I guess he had never really, like, sent anything lewd, like a graphic photo or anything like that, but that doesn't mean that he wasn't out there and that he didn't know. Like, he knew that girl's age.
Yeah.
Because there was a couple times where, and I don't remember if they even mentioned this on the documentary, but
I don't think so.
She told him that she wasn't of age, and he, like, made a remark like, oh, hurry up. Like, hurry up and get older.
Yeah.
So I don't think that's, if he's using this as a way to like come back into American culture again, American pop culture, whatever, I don't think we should easily let that go. It's probably already happening, but
I'd like to hope that he wasn't doing it like that he was doing it because he wanted to do it and he felt like it was his time to speak his piece and all that stuff. I don't know. Abuse it can be a cyclical thing, and people who abuse often learn from those who abuse them and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Which again is not an excuse. It's just kind of factual. It's just kind of how abuse happens sometimes. Like, how do you learn to interact with certain people? You base it off of how you were interacted with when you were, I don't know, in that age or position or whatever. So
yeah, fair enough.
But yeah, I don't like all these people who were literally like, let's excuse everything Drake Bell ever did because of this. It can be both. Like, you can have sympathy and also admonish his own things that he's done wrong too. So
the story was wild because it was mostly about, so it went into it kind of shining a light on Dan Snyder, because there's been all this shit about Dan Snyder in the news and like what he did and how he like, I never noticed this as a kid, but I also didn't watch a lot of those shows. There's a lot of feet things, like
oh yeah,
feet everywhere. Weird things in shows where like they look like very sexual. Squirting Jamie Lynn Spears in the face with
this green goo,
yeah, which they like describe the fact that like somebody came on the set with like a syringe full of stuff, and like everybody stood back while that happened. And then of course like the kids were like murmuring about how it looked sexual and all that stuff. I don't know, it's a little weird.
Yes. It's tough because it's like,
how much of it was
how much of it was actually meant to be innuendo and how much of it was just Dan being like, haha, it's funny because she's got goo on her or something, whatever.
So they do kind of do a good job of explaining like what is what.
Yeah.
The goo stuff, I don't know about any of that stuff. That seems clearly kind of like very weird. The part where they're explaining like, how he came up with the character Penelope Taint. And
I'm so sad that that's her stupid last name, man. I thought it was Tate.
I did think it was Tate when I was a kid. I
still believe it.
I did think it was Tate when I was a kid, but apparently it's Taint. And these two women who were writers on the show, they discussed how he told them, like, don't tell anyone what it means. Like, we don't want them to know what it means. And then they all played stupid, and I guess the network probably believed him and let it fly. So
yeah, I mean that in that particular one he could get away with it because it could be like which is what they said too. They were like,
he tainted something.
Yeah, no, she's tainted because she's obsessed with Amanda or whatever. So, but it's still Tate. I'm doing revisionist history. It's not Taint. That's dumb, and I dislike it a lot. So
I wonder why that wasn't suggested. Like some network person, like, let's just change it to Tate.
Right.
At that point, they could have just did it, and
who would have noticed?
Who would have known? Nobody. But
it's funny with all this. The focus. I mean, it's funny in a not a haha sense, but like how all the focus was on Dan Snyder, and then it's like, bam, here's Brian Peck. It's like I didn't even know who that was.
Nobody did. I don't think anyone really knew who. Well, okay.
Most people like
most
us.
people don't understand the business. Like they're not looking at all the people who are producing and directing and all that shit, right? And
but then they showed him as like a semi-recurring like little
Pickle
character,
Boy,
which I do remember from all that.
Yeah,
actually.
I do remember Pickle Boy, and it was very strange then, and it's very weird now.
Especially, yeah.
There's a part where he literally hands Ray Romano a pickle through a hole in the wall. It looks like a glory hole.
Which is like, that one is like very blatantly
that
like
was very like,
there was no way, I don't know, unless you're a child then you don't know, but like for anybody over the age of like 14,
you understood what that was.
Yeah, there was yeah, so weird.
When I was a kid and I watched the Man Show, I didn't understand that.
No, me either.
I didn't understand that at all.
No,
but I mean, watching it now, it's like clearly that's what it is. It's like he also like had this one where it was the same sketch. He was Pickle Boy, and like somebody would say shit about him and be like, he likes to tease and hurt pickles, and it's I don't know, man. It's just kind of weird.
Prophetic.
It's a little weird.
It's prophetic.
But it did shift to him basically, and then that's where the Drake Bell stuff happened.
Yeah.
Because he didn't really, as far as I know, suffer at the hands of Dan Schneider. It was mostly
No.
Brian Peck.
Yeah.
And there was another person, Jason Handy, who was on that show, who was on, I don't know, one of the shows.
I think All That.
All That, who I guess did stuff as well. And another person who I don't remember their name, but they, yeah.
Well, I think she was only going by her first name, and she didn't appear on the show. Her mom did.
Who's this?
The girl who.
Oh, yes.
Who was talking online with Jason Handy.
Yeah, didn't he send a lewd photo or something?
Yeah. And then her mom said that was kind of enough to make her daughter stop doing like acting and stuff, which, and I had made this remark before, which is, horrible in hindsight to say, but it's like, it's good that only that happened.
Yeah.
Like,
and that would,
by
Brian
comparison of, I don't know, other things that not only Drake, but other like
Brian Peck?
child celebrities.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Had to go through as far as, adults taking advantage of children. So, and it's also good that that girl had a supportive mom who was like,
yeah, we're taking this to
the
top here, and
So-
who didn't. There was a lot of parents.
Yeah, they interviewed a good chunk of parents.
A lot of parents. One of the mothers, I think her son was. I'm sorry, I don't remember his name. I'm horrible with names. He was on the show. And he was the one. I think he was. No, that wasn't Leon. That was someone else.
Yeah.
He was on the show. He was the one who had the honor dare where he was covered in peanut butter, and I think the dog was like licking him.
Yeah.
And he was comfortable with it or something.
Yeah, and as a kid, it's like, haha, that's funny. But now it's like, as a kid,
Yeah.
you're like, an adult is making him do this, and that's really weird.
It is weird. Well, I guess him and his mom had a very like rough relationship after that, because she kind of pulled him away from all that bullshit and like raised her voice and like raised concerns. And I guess maybe it caused friction, and then they didn't invite him back. So he was like, oh, my mom ruined my only shot at acting.
Yeah. But now they said the documentary brought them closer together.
Yeah.
Which is nice.
That is good.
Also, shout out to Drake Bell's dad. He's awesome. I feel horrible for what he had to go through and how he was stopped at nearly every turn to try to protect Drake.
Very
But you can
sad.
tell from like he's so emotional in the doc and stuff, and he really cares, and it's really sweet, and and I'm glad that he and Drake have a mended relationship now. But yeah, I was surprised at with the amount of with the parents that they interviewed too. But it was good because obviously they're the ones who are also on set, and they were also already adults in the moment when this sort of stuff was happening, so they already had that perspective on it. Because you hear a lot of the child actors now, adults themselves, that are like looking back and saying, yeah, this was kind of messed up. But a lot of them also said, if the adults are writing it and they're laughing and whatever, it's like,
who are you to go against it?
Right, I guess I'm doing something right. And
yeah, I think they're all pretty funny kids, and they just, if you give a kid a laugh on like a production stage or any performance, they're gonna go with that. Like that's gonna be their thing that they're gonna do, because they're gonna want to do it again. They want to hear the laughter. It's only human nature.
Oh, so one thing that, because we started to watch episode 5 and then kind of realized it was a nothing burger for the most part. The one thing, because I had read about some highlights from it, so the one part that we stopped watching on was when they had another All That cast member, Shane Lyons, interviewed, and he said that Brian Peck also had taken a weird interest with him.
Really?
And at one point he had asked Shane, who was like 13 at the time, if he knew what blue balls were.
Oh God.
But Shane said at that point he knew to like kind of try to distance himself. He said he was basically approached in the same way that Drake was, except he, he was lucky enough to kind of
be able to
Yeah, whether it was him or his parents, and I didn't read if his parents got involved with like keep away you creep or whatever.
Right.
But like what that like ew, like that's a horrible thing to ask a 13-year-old as an adult. So ew. But yeah, that was the I think only major thing we really missed from that follow-up interview thing. But I mean, it's just a whole literal like perversion of justice that Brian only got 16 months, and then got to sign on to Disney because no one knows how to do a stupid background check on anybody. Apparently,
It's funny because like you go through more background checks and stuff going into like a regular job sometimes,
oh yeah,
like applying for like a regular ass job, and then these people just kind of know people or have connections, and they just get on set and they're like, yeah,
like Drake talking
fine.
about the courtroom and how there were so many like industry or like actor people on Brian's
Brian's
side.
side.
Yeah,
yeah.
it was like ew. And also the way that the letters had been, or the way that I guess Brian's people had tried to justify that it was like they played it off a lot, and then also said it was like this young man seduced me or whatever.
I think that's so strange.
It's so gross. It's like,
even if that's your excuse, it's such a weird excuse, I think, to use that.
and like, are there teens who do try to seduce older people? Yes, but you are also the adult in the situation, so
You say no.
yeah, especially in a legal standpoint, a moral standpoint, but especially a legal standpoint, you say no. You're the grown up, like. So there's no such thing legally as the youngster was trying to seduce the adult, because that's disgusting and doesn't actually really exist. And
No, it doesn't really happen. And like you said, even if it does, it's like you have to be the adult and say no. I was listening on a very, very similar case. Mary Letourneau.
Oh yeah.
Do you remember her?
Yes, I do. Yep.
I was watching this entire like hour and a half long documentary about her, and I think his name is Villy. The person that she
had
seduced. A kid with that she seduced.
Yeah.
But she said it was him.
Which is no.
He was a child.
But they stayed together for so long because he's gone on record now too, and he says it's because like she really did kind of entrap him and
well, yeah, she also kind of pulled him away from everything
and groomed him basically, and they have children together. Good news is she's dead now.
She died
of cancer, I think.
Yeah, she died of cancer,
which is great. I don't wish death on anybody, but it's funny too because occasionally, like once in a great while, I see her story pop up on like my Twitter feed, and of course they make it sound like they're still together or whatever, these like misleading stupid Twitter posts.
Oh no, they broke up a while ago.
Well, they also make it sound like she's still alive in these Twitter posts. So then you have all these commenters like WTF and like she should burn in hell, and there's always like some nice commenter who's like she is smiley face or whatever. So but yeah, like I said, teenagers can be kind of forward and hormonal and whatever, but also you have to be, if you're the adult, you have to be the adult in the situation and recognize that it's not right, and don't do anything. I think it's really easy to just find an adult who's vying for your affection in the same way as this not adult, you know? I think it's easy. I don't know.
I think it really did showcase a lot of stuff that you know, we've heard this stuff for a long time. Not even just Nickelodeon, but other places too. And
yeah.
Other child actors like Drew Barrymore and.
Her stories. It's a miracle that she's as the way she is now, because her story is so horribly sad. Yeah. Same thing with Macaulay Culkin. His story's sad too. But yeah. The one other thing though was the Boogie interview.
Okay, let's talk about it.
Oh my God, it's so horrible and stupid and pointless and.
Well, it's not pointless. It served a point. The point was so that
for Dan and nobody else.
It was obviously very, very staged. The interviewer was not an interviewer. He was just a person.
Yeah, so for context, the person who interviewed Dan Snyder on an interview that took place on Dan's own channel where he disabled the comments was a like minor recurring character on iCarly. He literally introduces himself in the interview as like, hi, you may know me as Tebow from iCarly or whatever. It's like, I didn't even know you. I forgot you existed. What are you doing here? And like, sitting in Dan's house, like,
Or wherever they were.
or wherever. I think one of our friends thought it was a green screen, which
It could have been.
it could have been.
Yeah, it could have been. I just think
There were
his
some
house is
flowing
weird.
curtains, but
I did see the curtains
Yeah.
flowing, so that made me think it was kind of real because
But the why the interview is cringe and stupid and dumb and pointless is because Boogie was throwing so many softball, like soft questions at Dan.
they
And
were
it-
all soft. There was no hard questions in there.
And it was clearly like Dan knew, like there was no pause for any of his answers before he answered. Like they knew what questions were going to be asked.
What to say?
And then the immediate response from Boogie after Dan answers a question is, "Well, it's really big of you to say." It's like, no, don't praise him. Like, what are you people
There was a
doing?
point in the interview. One of my favorite parts was Dan pretended to get very emotional about
Oh
the
yeah,
Drake Bell thing.
Yeah.
And how he supported him through that, and he's like, "All right, Dan, you want to take a second? Do you need a second?"
Oh my
Like,
God.
Holy shit, man! You're interviewing him for stuff that he did wrong.
what a baby. Like,
Just he doesn't need a second.
no.
He doesn't need a second. Clearly, it was very well acted. Sorry, not well acted. It was acted.
It was just acted.
just
Period.
acted.
It was just acted.
There was a couple points where they were talking about cutting out stuff. There was this back and forth exchange between Boogie and Dan, where Dan's like, "Yeah, just cut it out of the show," and then Boogie's like, "That would be a solution."
Oh my God, it
Very
was so
funny.
contrived and stupid.
It was like about 20 minutes, just shy of 20 minutes, and nobody fell for it. Nobody.
No.
Nobody.
Oh my God.
Nobody.
I wish the comments would have stayed open for at least a day or something.
I found
Like even
that
Colleen Ballinger left her comments open for a while.
she did. I found that on TikTok, and I immediately went to the source. I'm like, "Wait, I gotta find this, right?" And it's only available one place,
Yeah, on his.
or you can watch somebody else react to it. But it's only one place, and it's his thing.
It's horrible, so stupid.
Because it's kind of shocking at first. You're like, "Oh my God, he's sitting down for this interview after this." Like,
And then you start to watch it, and you're like,
oh, this is fake.
oh,
Yeah,
he's
it's fake.
saving face. I get it now.
Right.
And that was actually one of the funny things too from the episode 5, Quiet on Set, when they interviewed. I know Giovanni Samuels, and I forget the other kid's name. I feel bad about it, but where they were literally like, I found that funny because it seems like it comes off kind of like a Saturday Night Live sketch, like where it's like you take the serious thing
Oh, because
and
it's
then
not funny.
well, because it's like kind of cringe funny, like it's already so bad anyway that like it seems satirical kind of. And they were saying they thought it was funny because he didn't really address anything, and several times Dan's like, and I need to apologize to those who, it's like, did you apologize to them?
He looks in the camera at one point.
Oh
and he's
my
like,
God,
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. He
To
doesn't mention anybody. though.
Nondescript people.
I am sorry if I hurt you, if you felt that way. I'm sorry you felt that way and that you thought you were hurt. I'm sorry for that.
Yeah, it was so horrible.
So, what were your main takeaways from it?
The interview,
Yeah.
basically everything I said already, that it was self-serving and definitely rehearsed ahead of time, or like I guess only rehearsed in the sense that Dan knew what questions were going to be asked.
Do you think Boogie will ever disavow it? If he hasn't already.
I want him to say something.
If he says something and like, wow, this was horrible and I'm sorry, I need to see it. I'll be the first one to show you that it happened because I will be scrounging around for that. Like a
Right?
hawk.
And then one thing I wish from the Quiet on the Set. So like, here's the thing too: is people are sort of hounding other
Nick Stars.
who weren't on the dock to make a statement, like including Ariana Grande. And whether
She should just say whatever. She can just say whatever at this point.
but it's also a matter of if they didn't experience what these other child actors experienced, then like how can they speak on that? B, it can come off as performative, like maybe they reached out to like their past co-stars offline. So like, do they need to say anything about it online? We don't know what happens outside of their online life, so no, I don't think they need to make a statement about something. And C, it's like I forgot my train of thought. Shoot, I knew I was going to lose
okay.
my train of thought. Like they feel like pressured into making a statement just because people are making them. It's not that they want to themselves, like these other child actors in the doc did. But like if they feel, and that's happened a couple times where some of them have felt pressured to make a statement, and it's kind of crappy when that happens. Like you don't want people to feel pressured to acknowledge their own trauma if they have trauma, because like
I don't think you should make it up. I think you should just tell how things went.
but I don't think every single Nickelodeon kid star needs to make a statement if they're not ready, if it didn't apply to them,
But not all
or
of them went through
whatever.
it.
Right, exactly.
It's just, yeah, there might have been instances where they were like on set and maybe Dan was, I don't know, aggressive or whatever, because people had said he was, it's not only like the foot thing or whatnot, but he was also like kind of aggressive on set sometimes. But not everybody went through it. They didn't see it all.
But yeah, they should feel compelled to speak if they want to. And that was the thing too, is like the people who were on the dock were doing it because, I would hope, because they wanted to speak their truth with it. So like speak on it. But but yeah, it's crappy to kind of force someone to make a statement just because they were on the same show.
Gotcha.
That being said, I do wish that we could have gotten the perspective from somebody who was a cast member, not Boogie, on iCarly. Because, or, I mean, I think that was the one show that didn't really have any person from it. Well, Victorious, I think, too. But they didn't really have anybody from it who spoke about... They mentioned it on the show, but, like...
Who was in iCarly?
Miranda Cosgrove.
Which they did a reboot on that, right?
Yes.
And she had like a...
Without Dan's involvement and without Jeanette McCurdy, who, in that same vein, I think already spoke her truth anyway, well before.
She wrote a whole ass book.
Calling Dan the creator. It's like we all know who she's talking about, but legally she can't say who she's...
so stupid.
At the time. I mean, maybe she can now, since everybody's literally like Dan.
I think she has to.
I think it's pretty well implied.
Yeah.
By the way, go read her book.
Yeah, I want to. I will at
It's
some point.
Yeah, listen to she does the narration on the audiobook, so.
Yeah, I might just listen to the audiobook. That'll be the first audiobook I ever listened to.
So I kind of wish there was some perspective from the iCarly part, especially knowing what Jeanette McCurdy went through from reading her book. But at the same time, it's like, I guess the book kind of said everything that needed to be said. And that's also not to say that Miranda Cosgrove and company experienced the same things.
Maybe they didn't, but there was a lot of weird stuff that happened on the sets and stuff. There's a lot of things that weren't in the doc that I found like either on like YouTube or TikTok and stuff, just things that were weird.
Yeah,
Dan would like go around and like talk to the cast sometimes, and it was just kind of, sometimes they seemed very uncomfortable around him.
Yeah,
so
I
would like to hear more about what their experience was too.
So while I'm glad that Dan Schneider himself is not a pedophile, I think.
Well, okay, we can't go that far yet. Okay, just because of all the stuff he's done.
I know.
Tory, like,
no, I know.
The Ariana Grande squeezing that potato and her like being like, I'm thirsty on the bed, and then she gets like all this water dumped on her.
Yeah.
It's a little strange.
Oh, for sure.
It's a little weird.
So,
anyways, that's coming to the end here, I think. So
it is.
So
what a great note to end on.
Well, I mean, you can end it on any note you want. What do you want to say?
Winter from Aespa, get well soon because you had a freaking collapsed lung the other day. So that was something I didn't expect to read for a girl in her mid-20s.
It can happen for a lot of reasons, though. It's not always because she's like, I don't know, terminal or something.
No, definitely not.
Collapsed her lung. She got sick.
Yeah, poor thing. Also, Wonho, come back from war soon. I think you are, anyway. Because I forgot to acknowledge you last time. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
And like and subscribe. I don't know.
Great.
I don't really have anything
You
else.
hit all the notes. Good.
Thanks.
Good. Okay.
Talked about Easter conventions and neglected child stars. I think this was a pretty well-rounded
Yeah, I guess so.
episode.
Yeah, there's a lot going on.
Also, as a librarian, I'm so glad the eclipse is over.
The eclipse is over. What does that mean?
The eclipse, because nobody will ask us for eclipse classes anymore.
They're not even okay. Do you guys give them out for free or something? Is that usually
No, some libraries do. We did not.
you would
but
sell
then-
them
No, we didn't have them at all.
when you did have them?
We didn't. We never had them.
Oh,
So for backstory for my libraries, the last eclipse that there was in 2017. We did buy eclipse glasses, but they weren't NASA approved. Because if they're not NASA approved, there's a chance that if you use them and you look into the sun, hello, big lawsuit or whatever.
well, fuck.
So we bought them from Amazon thinking we were so slick and like saving money, but they weren't NASA approved. So now we had like 200 eclipse glasses that were pointless.
Shit.
So
We bought some from Amazon too. Fuck.
well, I'm sure you'll be fine.
We don't know.
Okay, well, time will tell.
It will.
Fast forward to this year with the eclipse, you've got like publications or like your local news saying check with your library about getting eclipse classes. We got so inundated with phone calls. We got one of my coworkers alone on the Monday of the eclipse said that she in an hour got 40 calls about if we had eclipse classes. They started putting signs on the door.
No eclipse.
And they should have put a banner on the website that just said it. I had a meeting with other people from other libraries that same week, and one person was saying that they started answering the phone saying, thank you for calling such and such library. We do not have eclipse classes. How may I help you? Or something like that. Like
Good way to do it.
But yeah, it's like, and also if you're asking the day of the eclipse, if we have, like, you didn't plan
You
well.
waited too long.
You didn't plan
You
well
waited
even
too
on
fucking
Saturday
long.
when we were also flooded with calls. Like, you just didn't plan well.
You
So
didn't plan.
You played yourself.
Played yourself.
So anyway, I'm glad the eclipse is over. It was cool to look at, but I never want to experience that as a library worker again. Thank you. That's my PSA.
Good way to end it.
Now like and subscribe.
Cool.
I ruined it again.
Why?
I don't know. I feel like every YouTube person says like and subscribe.
They do. I don't ever say it, but I think it has to be said at some point. So
I will let it be said. So
good job.
thank
Okay,
you.
Great. So I think we're cutting it at the end here.
We are.
So, go watch the stuff. I'm not gonna say like and subscribe, but I just did.
Cut it and crop it and make it sound like he just said like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe. 1 like equals. For the next eclipse, you'll get
A pair of eclipse glasses.
at the library in the town that we live in. Don't look up the town. I won't tell you what it is. Definitely call them.
By the way, pro tip, you're not being smart by saving your eclipse glasses for the next eclipse because they expire after 3 years.
Oh my god.
So don't do that.
These won't last me to 2040 something or whatever. Fuck.
Yeah, that is the next one, huh? But anyway,
Yeah.
So
Well, that's the next one that we're going to be in the path of totality for. Or close to it or some shit. I don't know.
if
It
there's
happened all
no
the time.
rapture first.
No, there's no rapture. In fact, there is no rapture, but there is an Azarad's Flame. And that's where you can go. YouTube.com/Azarad's Flame. AZARATHS FLAMEE. There's 2 E's in that. So,
That was great.
yeah, no problem. Or tribute us on Twitter, TRIPPYDESU.
Yes.
Okay, great. Nailed it.
Or you can check out the other side of the moon and go check out Lewis's stuff on his Twitter, because we still call it Twitter, at Lumo. Also, get him to go back on Twitch. I'm just kidding. Check out his VODs. If you have VODs, right? I'm assuming.
I don't think anymore.
Oh, well, anyway. Check him out anyway at twitch.tv/Lumo. Everything's the same name because he's a consistent person.
Thank you.
I was going to say the F word. I sometimes cuss a little.
A little?
Just a little bit. Or check us out for LEM'n'TEA podcast as our own entity together on TikTok and on Twitter by the same name, LEM'n'TEA Podcast. And if you like what you heard, consider subscribing and liking and commenting and all that good stuff. Tell a friend, tell your dog, tell children to not get into child acting without a parent and therapist on set. Tell anybody about LEM'n'TEA Podcast, and we appreciate it. Did I just tie it all up very nicely there? Probably
covered every base, I think. I don't think there's a base that hasn't been covered, so that's good.
Perfect.
All right.
Bases loaded.
Good night.
Good night. Bye, One Ho.